Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about finding absolute value today. Really, what we're going to look at is what does absolute value mean and how do we find it as a value. So absolute value, if you're talking about an action, means go to zero. And so I'm going to go to zero and I'm going to start here. And then the second number you see here, we see 2 as our second number. That number also tells us to go find that on a number line. Now the action we have to take at this point, so remember the first action is go to zero as soon as we see absolute value. It says go to zero. The second action is go to whatever number it shows you. The third action, which is now, is how far apart are those? And I can just count one, I don't really want to use highlighter. 1, 2. So we have 2 bumps. So that tells me they're a distance of 2 apart. So the answer to find the absolute value of 2 is 2. Now, another thing I want to bring to your attention before we end this video, absolute value has a symbol. Just like addition has a symbol, multiplication has a symbol, a lot of things have symbols in mathematics. Remember, math is a language. So when we see the word absolute value, there's also a symbol, and those are 2 vertical bars. And just so you know, it actually stems from that same idea of that bar that's at 0 and that bar at, this case it's 2, or whatever value it's telling us to go to. Those 2 vertical bars come from these things I call ticks. And really, the tick is just the line on the number line that's above our number to indicate where we are. So a little bit of the vocab is absolute value. There were 2 things we need to do. Number 1, there's actions we need to take. Number 2, there's symbols we need to recognize. And the last thing was a little bit of vocabulary and what is that mark above a number on a number line. So again, the actions we take are 1, go to 0. 2, go to whatever number it's telling us, go to number, okay? Not hashtag number. 3, count how far apart they are. Okay, those are our 3 actions anytime we see absolute value. We will see absolute value as either words, like we did up here, and let me get rid of it here and then re-highlight it. Right here it says the words absolute value, or we will see them in symbols. Now those symbols come from what we already use on the number line called ticks. Again, more vocab, but we basically take the 2 ticks at our 2 numbers, 0 and the number we're asking about, and we put that in here. Now this is saying the absolute value of 2, so 2 would actually go in between these, and this right here reads the same thing as all of this right there. This bar to bar translates to absolute value of 2. And if you hear me, you hear me specifically. Not every teacher calls them the same. I'm sure there's a fancy name for them. But I call the dashes on a number line ticks. And that gets us through absolute value.